to the Untranslatable podcast. We are here today on the brink of the 2021 fall school year, and we are going to do an episode today all about back-to-school excitement and how some countries celebrate the beginning of their school years in different countries. So it should be a good episode. We're going to talk a little bit about our own experience as Americans, because I'm curious to see if there were any traditions in Jared's family, and we can talk about what my family did for the first day or first week of school as well. So this should be a fun episode, and if any of you are actually either going back to school or college or uni, this is the episode for you. So stay tuned, and without further ado, I'm here with my co-host, my good buddy Jared. What's going on, Jared?
Hello, Chad. I've never heard of back-to-school celebrations. I feel like the only back-to-school celebration... What, they like have parties before back-to-school year or something? You'll tell me about it later.
Well, you're going to find out, that's for sure.
I feel like the only back-to-school celebration I'm familiar with is consumerism, and that's the celebration that we have here in the United States.
You better believe it.
I went to Meijer just to get some random stuff the other day, and they had like the back-to-school section up, and I got anxiety.
Can I ask you, Jared, did you come out of there with like 5 notebooks, like 3 packs of pens?
You know, no, I didn't. I didn't even look at it. I was so disgusted. I think it maybe just because it reminded me that I'm supposed to be figuring out grad school, and I haven't started. And I'm like, oh God, a constant reminder that back to school season is happening for me too at some point.
Right.
Oh, but yeah, no, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. Do you get a good feeling when you see that back to school section? You get excited for back to school?
Yes and no. I mean, when I was doing just teaching work, so I had the summers off, it was kind of a bittersweet feeling because it was like, well, my vacation's ending, but, you know, pretty soon I'll get back to work again. But it just really depends. Now that, now I'm working during the summer and my job is a little bit different, so it doesn't have quite the same meaning,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I forgot. I didn't even think when I asked you that. I didn't even think about the fact that you're in academia. So even for you versus me, the idea because I haven't interacted with school since I left it, but that's still part of your life to a certain extent.
Right.
Do you wanna play a game? By the way,
Of course I do.
Saul style.
Read the apology.
I want to play a game. Currently, your son is on the other side of town suspended above a thing of sharks. Anyway, did you hear about Juventus's dumbass Instagram Twitter post? I don't know if they put it on Instagram.
No, what happened?
So Juventus, this is their ladies team. Juventus apologizes for racist post shared on women's team Twitter feed. You didn't see it? You didn't? I saw it. Okay. See, this is...
I'm not really on Twitter.
That's why I love Twitter. I see these things in real time, and it's so exciting. I say this all the time, but whenever you see something like a Twitter moment happen in real time, it's very exciting.
So did you just kind of know when you saw this tweet, you were like, yep, this is going to be bad? Or what happened?
The reason I saw it, I don't follow the women's Juventus team on Twitter. The reason I saw it is because someone else I follow is like, this is not a good look. I think they were mentioning they were surprised how long it was up. But then...
what was the tweet?
Oh yeah, I'll tell you what it was. So Juventus has apologized after a tweet was posted on its women's team official account showing a player making a racist gesture towards Asian people. The Italian soccer club sparked outrage on Thursday after it tweeted a photo showing defender Cecilia Salvai using her fingers to pull her eyes back while wearing a red training cone on her head. Like one, not a tall one, but one of the flat ones.
Right.
I don't know why I'm using my head to show you, but one of the skinnier flat ones.
I know what cones you're talking about. Yeah.
The post also included emojis that mimicked the eye pulling gesture. It was like a squinting emoji.
Right. Oh, geez.
The photograph was swiftly taken down, but not before it prompted a ferocious backlash and accusation of blatant racism from the online community. I'm always shocked I am always shocked at this level of ignorance. Like, who thought this was a... Oh, you know why I saw it? Because someone commented, on how many, like, this is essentially a corporate account, how many
Right.
levels this goes. Like, it's not just, I don't think it's just one rogue person just posting shit, Like, there's someone in charge of actually setting up the post, but I feel like there's more than one person in charge of this account, It's not just one guy
Jared,
or one girl.
Jared, I think you'd be surprised,
Maybe
actually.
it seems like it.
I think
Because
you'd
this
be
seems like
surprised,
so
yeah.
obviously dumb, It's like, how did you
Right.
not, like, this is such a
What
classic.
did they even say in that post?
I don't think
just don't get how...
I don't think it said anything.
It was just a picture of her doing...
With the
doing-
emojis.
Oh, man. Well, why? Yeah, I just don't... That
What
makes
is it-
no sense to me whatsoever.
What does it have to do with soccer? Like, I don't understand what it has to do with soccer.
that,
like,
that
what does it
person
have to do with
got
anything?
fired, right?
I don't know. I have no
Is
idea.
that a fireable offense? I would say so,
Okay,
right?
So what it is actually, so it's one emoji. I see it now. I pulled it up. It's one emoji of the squinting emoji, and on each
Okay.
side there are the fingers doing the guns that point
Okay.
towards the head, but essentially
Okay.
mimicking, like, pulling the eyes back. And it's like, yeah, I don't understand. Oh, you can't just copy and paste stuff. I thought maybe you could, but it's not that advanced. I don't understand the benefit. Like what
Right.
what does this have to do with even soccer? Is what I'm
Right.
confused at. So yeah. That didn't go well.
That's so crazy.
But
I wonder if the player will get in any trouble.
I don't know. Let me continue reading the article because the apology is coming up next, which we have to.
let's hear this.
know.
Read the apology.
All right, here we go. Sorry, I'm closing the picture that I was looking at of her doing the racist gesture. And, it's pretty clear. Okay. We sincerely apologize that our tweet, which was not meant to cause controversy or have any racial undertones, may have offended anyone. The club said in a statement published on its official Twitter account shortly after the post was taken down. I believe there's more. Hold on. Juventus has always been against racism and discrimination, it added, with a hashtag differences make the difference. When CNN asked Juventus what social media protocols it had in place, the club declined to answer, pointing to its online apology, where it promised a thorough review to prevent similar things from happening again. A thorough.
See, so I'm telling you, Jared, they only had one rogue person posting.
That's what you think.
I think so.
You think if they had like a big team, they would just say it? Because I don't think that's better. I don't think it's good
Right.
either way.
Well, I think the no comment obviously is the.
I think it's smart.
Plead
though.
the
there's,
fifth.
There's nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing good you can say after this. I kind of do
Right.
think that's smart. Just leave. You said the apology. Just leave it like that. Just
Yeah.
leave it at that. Because the more you talk about it, that almost never.
makes
goes,
it worse a
Almost
lot of
never
times,
goes
yeah.
well. Then you're trying to essentially you're explaining away your race, like trying to explain the racism, and it's like no, I just own up to it and move on. I guess.
Exactly.
Juventus immediately realized that the club had committed an unforgivable mistake, and this mistake has seriously hurt the feelings of all people who oppose racial discrimination, the club said in a Friday statement post on its website. CNN asked Salvi for comment through the club, while Juventus said in its website statement that it assumes full responsibility for the occurrence of the incident and its serious impact. The 27-year-old Salvi hasn't posted on social media, but has turned off comments on Instagram. The controversy comes months after Juventus marked International Day Against Racial Discrimination on March 21st. Players wore special jerseys featuring numbers associated with statistics related to racism, such as the fact that 1 in 3 black people experience racial harassment in Europe. That's probably just all of them. Let's be honest. In Friday's statement, the other 2 out of 3 don't realize. They just don't realize that people are also being racist towards them as well. Also, it's in the policy. It's not just how some person coming up to you and do. Anyway, that's not the problem. I don't need to. In Friday's statement, Juventus said opposing racial discrimination and supporting the common development of multiple cultures are the principles that Juventus as a club has always adhered to and continue to practice, to put into practice.
Read the apology. I mean, this is a tricky one, dude. This is a...
Mm-hmm.
I will say, as we've already mentioned, but I do like the fact that they apologized and just left it at that.
Sure.
So I will say that I think brings it up. I would give it a 6. Maybe because of that, I might bring it up to a 7. Maybe Maybe I'm being too generous.
No, I was
but-
thinking 6 or 7 as well. I get so annoyed at these corporate stand against racism buzzwords. I wish they would have, instead of just saying we stand against racism, we've always stood against racism. Explain, we have this foundation, or we donate, and we're continuing to learn. I feel like it could have been, it wasn't the best, but
That's a great point, Jared.
It's like
donate to a charity. Put your money where your mouth is.
Or explain how you've already been doing that, because apparently you've cared about racism for a while. So explain
and then you
how,
post something like this, which makes no sense.
and say this is why we continue to invest in these organizations and continue to learn ourselves or something. And so I get sort of annoyed at the corporate buzzwords, and especially in the sports, a lot of them, Formula One, soccer, even they do all these such empty sort of, we stand against racism. It's like, I don't know, end racism. I hate that. End racism. It's like, okay, that's such a generic.
How are you going to do that?
And I think that's such, to me, such a European view of racism. And I
you
feel
can
like
just end it.
I feel like that's not really something we talk about as far as people that I even care about racism in the U.S. I feel like it's not about this idea of ending it, but at least big, it's bigger than that. It's fixing the systemic problems that lead to, even, because I think the idea of ending racism is some sort of, that's not a realistic goal.
Right. Well, yeah, it's not like one day we're just going to be like, oh, okay, racism is over. Yay. That's not how that works.
It kind of also reminds me of the people that always talk about, once the old people die, racism will end. It's like, no, young people are racist too.
Yeah.
There are a lot of terrible sections of the internet filled with young people talking about terrible racist stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's a normal part of the internet. It's not an old person thing. I mean, old people teach it, I guess, but they've taught it. And it's moved on to new generations,
Right.
So what do you mean end racism? All of a sudden, everyone will be like, yeah, you're right. Racism is bad. Sorry.
It's a very, very kind of
not loft.
Yeah. No, that's
it is lofty, but that's not. That's not the word I want to use. It is lofty in the sense it's like, all right, good luck. That's a big goal.
Right.
But it's unattainable.
Yeah.
It's not, lofty goals are attainable.
Right.
It's unattainable.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
I'd
give that a 6 or 7. It wasn't the worst, but I there's too many. I hate those corporate racial buzzwords.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. And just, I do not know exactly what you said. I just don't see the relation it has to anything soccer related or any. I just don't get. Who was like, this is a good idea?
Yeah.
We should post this. What?
Yeah, I don't understand. Just take a picture of them practicing. It's at practice. I don't know. It's this is a soccer account.
Right.
What does this have to do with anything?
Right. Yeah.
Just a random white person making the racial Asian eyes that has been clearly known to be racist for a long time. This is not a new thing. And with and then even with the cone on the head too, it's I don't understand what this has to do with anything.
Yeah, what are you trying to do here? Yeah. Oh man, it's crazy.
Oh my God.
It's crazy.
That was not the best.
No, I would agree with that. That's for sure. I want to talk to you about something, Jared, real quick before we get into our untranslatables, because I thought this would be really interesting, and I'd like to get your thoughts on this. I don't know if you've heard about this yet, so I'm kind of excited. Here we go. The headline is, magnetizable concrete in roads could charge electric cars while you drive. Have you heard about this? I'm sure you've heard about this, right?
I've heard about this. I've done extensive research into this back in the day at one of my old jobs.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I saw this and I just thought this was really fascinating. I mean, is it talking about lofty goals here, Jared? Do you think is this something that's attainable one day?
I don't think it's necessary. First, I don't think it's necessary. I think what needs to be focused on is a strong charging infrastructure, and not in this. And I think the idea of charging I don't think it's necessary. It's gas cars have worked for a long time off of the prospect that you drive for a couple hundred miles and you could stop for a couple minutes and fill up again. I think that's way more financially viable and useful of a concept with electric cars to be able to get the charging and battery technology down where you can almost make the stop close to as quick as a gas stop. I think financially and infrastructure wise, that makes a lot more sense. We have bridges everywhere in the United States that are decades past their like useful life. And it's just like, oh, well, we don't have the money. We'll get to it when we get to it. But you expect these same people to install, like to
Magnetized
completely
roads.
like uproot our. Are they trying this anywhere, like Sweden or Finland or something?
Well, so according to this article, last month, Indiana's Department of Transport announced a collaboration with Purdue University and German company, I think that's Magment, to test out whether cement embedded with magnetized particles could provide. But it doesn't say.
What's the company?
But I would
Magna. That's a company.
no Magment Magment to test out whether
I think what's more useful. Why I like the idea of wireless charging. I think that could be very useful and possible. I know that companies like Target, Walmart, stuff like that have invested in wireless charging parking spots. And I think I like that concept where whenever you go someplace, there can be certain parking spots where you can, fill up on a charge and not have to plug anything in. I think that.
Wouldn't that be crazy if it was just a magnetized parking spot and you can just roll up and
I mean, dude, I have multiple wireless chargers for my phone in my house. It could be a similar concept. The thing is that it requires a relatively universal magnetized like pad to be installed on the cars. I think that is more useful, and just getting our battery and charging technology not just useful but viable, getting our battery and charging technology more efficient, and the idea of like wireless charging maybe at like various public places that you might go to. I could see that, but the idea of magnetizing the roads, and I get the concept, but I don't think it's that necessary to always be full on battery like that. And I have no faith in that sort of thing being installed in our infrastructure. I see what they're doing here. I'm looking at the Magment website, and they use it also in like warehouses with like automated what do you call it, high-lows and forklifts and stuff. That makes perfect sense. Especially since they go along very specific paths and stuff like that. And if they're automated, then no one, or even if they're not automated, then like you can just never have to worry about downtime, I guess. So I get that. But
one thing you mentioned too, Jared, about it being financially viable, I'm reading here that the cost of these roads is $1 million per kilometer, or about $1.9 million per mile.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. I mean, to think about how expensive that would be.
And how efficient is that? Like how wide is it in relation to how wide the lane is, or how big you're charging? Like how if you're just going along a freeway, what's the percentage of you actually being perfectly lined up with it? I don't know. I don't think it's useful. I don't think it's a useful goal for electric driving, because we've gone forever with the idea of gassing up a car in a couple minutes not being an issue, and that's what it compares electric cars to. The idea of I wish it could be as quick as gassing up a car, and so I think the idea of I don't think it's necessary. That's what I'm going to say.
Okay, that's fair. I just thought it was interesting.
I'm not saying it's not cool.
Right. Yeah, it is really interesting. I just wanted to get your thoughts on it. So I'm glad I asked, because I do like the idea of like a magnetized parking structure or something, or just like a couple of spots.
Yeah.
Because you're right, like the whole road, unless everyone's using an electric car, like what's the point?
Yeah, it just seems cost prohibitive for the especially in relation to the usefulness.
Right. That makes sense.
And the likelihood that it would actually happen. We have roads here.
And we got a lot of roads here.
Yeah. We have terrible roads here in Michigan. I mean, there are a lot of places in the U.S. that have terrible roads, but it would be nice for them to just make a lot of these roads drivable, where I'm not constantly in fear for my car, let alone it charging my car as well. That's the least of my concerns.
Right. Yeah, we're trying to dodge potholes here in Michigan, that's for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, without a doubt. Well, buddy, I think you might happen to know what time it is.
I do. It's time for those untranslatables, those idioms, those sayings, those proverbs that don't quite translate properly into
That's right.
into English or any other language, I guess.
Can I get us started with a German one?
No, I'm going to go first. Of course, sure.
Okay, go
ahead.
for it.
No, I don't care. Go ahead.
Okay. This first one is Blut. It's German. Sorry. Blut und Wasser schwitzen.
To sweat blood and water.
Yep.
Is that like to like work super hard? Put your all
Very
into it.
good, Jared.
I'm out
Hit
here.
that ham horn.
That sounds like something I could hear like an American person saying. I sweat blood and water out here to put food on the table for you ungrateful children.
Well, we have a similar untranslatable, Jared.
Yeah. Blood, sweat, and tears. I put my blood, sweat, and tears into this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So
Yeah. This one, though, it's interesting, though, Jared. It also, apparently, it has two meanings. So it can mean to work very hard, or as my German website here says, sehr hart arbeiten. The other one, though, Jared, is große Angst haben. So to be very afraid or very scared.
Okay. All right.
So maybe that's like you're so terrified you're crying and somehow you're bleeding.
I see.
You got your nosebleed.
Yeah.
Not like our last episode, the Tagalog, to have a nosebleed.
Oh,
what
right.
was that one again?
Nosebleed ako. It was to have a nosebleed, but that means to lie.
That's right. That's right.
My that was impressive because I don't even have that on my notes anymore. So the fact that I pulled it out, I'm impressed with myself. My favorite untranslatables are always one that I come across in my real life, and this is one I was listening to a Formula One podcast that I listened to, and they're British people, and they started the pod by saying, "We just came to have a little chin wag." And I'm like, chin wag? At first I had to rewind because I'm like, did he say chin wank? And I looked that up. I was like, oh, that's not a thing. He did not say that.
A chin wag.
Yeah, a little chin wag.
It's like a little chat, right?
Yeah, a friendly
A little
conversation.
discussion. Yeah, I like that.
A chin wag.
Little chin wag.
Have you heard that before?
I haven't, but it makes like
I put in
a
the
dog wagging your tail, like maybe when you're talking and your chin moves.
I mean, I understand. I wouldn't relate. You mentioning the dog part almost threw me off. But I'm with you with the idea of like, if you're talking, your chin is moving around, and so that's how they explain talking. But the dog part threw me off.
Well, I was using that because they wag their tail.
Oh, okay.
And that was the only relation.
Wag.
But
wag is a word. Oh no, I guess you wag your finger at someone too.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
I was like, do you only use that in relation to dogs? But no, I guess you can wag your finger or your chin apparently.
Right, that's clearly a British thing because as an American, I've never heard that. But
that made me
cool
rewind
one.
the pod. I was like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, chin wag,
a little chin wag. I can't even say wag in a British way. Wag, a little chin wag.
A little chin wag. Yeah, I have no idea. I'm sure depending on where in England.
Oh yeah,
it'll obviously change. All right, well I got a Japanese one for you, Jared. Kishe kasai, which means this sounds maybe a little deeper than it needs to be, but here we go, Jared. Wake from death and return to life.
Is that just like I need it's been a long day. I need to refresh. I need to re-energize.
Not quite. We have an English untranslatable that has to do with lemons.
Oh, it's just if life gives you lemons, make lemonade.
Which means what, Jared?
Make the best out of a shitty situation.
There you go, my man.
What was the literal in Japanese again?
Wake from death and return to life. So I guess
see.
the bad situation is the death, right? But you wake from it, return to life.
Okay. Yeah. I think ours is better. No offense.
Right. Well, I'm sure maybe in Japanese it just sounds cooler.
I mean, I'm saying I'm basing this off of literal translations, which you can't really do when you talk about untranslatables. It kind of defeats the purpose.
That's very true. That's very true.
I have a Lithuanian one for you, and it's Raiti Akimis. Swallows with their eyes. with our eyes. To swallow with our eyes.
Oh, is that to be like shocked or surprised?
No.
No. Swallows with... Is it to cry? No. I guess if you swallowed with your eyes, you'd be puking with your eyes, I guess, if you were crying, right?
That is the Lithuanian untranslatable for crying, is puking with your eyes. No, I just made that up. Swallow with your eyes has nothing to do with crying. Although
give me
maybe
a clue.
if you're swallowing something with your eyes, it could lead you to tears. Maybe if you're, traveling and you find yourself at the Eiffel Tower, at the top of a mountain.
So is it just to like see like a breathtaking view?
There you go.
Okay.
Swallow it with your eyes. Take
So
it
you're
in.
just really taking it in.
Taking a great
Yeah.
view. To swallow it with
Okay.
your eyes.
I like that. That's makes sense too, because that's kind of what you're trying to do. right?
You want to try to look at every aspect of it. Just staring deeply at
Right.
something for a long time. I really enjoy that. After I've not climbed, but I've hiked some various mountains in my life. And when you get to some level of a peak and you can look out onto like how high up you are in comparison to where you started, that's a great time for me to swallow that in with my eyes. And be like,
Absolutely.
wow, I started all the way down there. Look at this.
Yeah.
I'm in the
You
clouds
got a
now.
lot to swallow with your eyes, for sure. My last one for you today, Jared, is Dutch. And I think we've used this one before, but it's a good one to review. Nu komt de aap uit de mouw.
Now let's review, folks. Something about coming with
Okay.
an O. Something about
What do
coming
you think
with an O.
What do you think op means?
Two?
No, AAP.
Op. Oh, I was thinking AB. AAP. Op. I have no idea.
What English word has the letters A and P in it?
A lot. Trap house?
No, just it's a short word,
Oh.
3 letters. Ape.
Oh, I see.
But I think it actually means monkey.
Op
Now the
means
monkey comes out of the sleeve.
Monkey and ape, two different things. Or like
Okay, well, maybe-
No, I'm asking you. Do you know?
Well, I mean, yes, they are, but maybe in Dutch, it's I
They're
couldn't tell
not
you
two
about
different
it
things
Dutch.
in Dutch? That
Maybe
can't
they
be the
are, maybe
case.
they aren't.
Because you're saying
don't know.
saying they are different animals.
No, I think
Or
an
is
ape is a type of monkey.
That's what I was gonna say. So all
Yeah.
monkeys are apes, but not all apes are monkeys. Is that how it might go? Listen, out of my depth.
No, I think
No?
I think all apes are monkeys,
But not all.
but not all monkeys are apes.
all apes are. Oh, interesting. All right.
Because
I don't know
apes
the
come
answer.
from. And anyway,
I'm not gonna-
Doesn't matter. Now the monkey comes out of the sleeve.
Oh, the truth comes out of the bag. Oh, now the truth comes out of the bag.
Well, not the truth, but something does come out of the bag.
The lie
What do
gets
we say?
exposed. You're a liar.
Yeah, I guess.
And I've
to let
exposed
the-
you.
Well, what do we say in English with a bag? What do we let out of the bag?
The cat comes out of the bag, not the
There
truth
we
comes
go.
out of the bag. That's right.
Yeah, yeah, the cat. Yeah,
I thought I was
Yeah, let
saying
the
the
cat out of the bag.
untranslatable when I said the truth comes out of the bag, but it's cat, not truth.
yeah, it's the cat.
Okay.
Hey, for some people, Jared, cats are their truth.
I
But
guess.
yeah, so
I don't even know what that
this one,
means.
Jared, I like this because this one has a little origin story for you. So the reason why they use this idiom is in the past, street artists would often perform tricks by hiding a monkey in their coats. At the end of the performance, the monkey would come out of the sleeve and reveal the trick. So I don't know, maybe you're doing a card trick, and the
mean-
monkey jumps out with the card. Who knows?
That does seem very impressive. That's an impressive
Right.
trick to even keep a monkey contained in your jacket
That's
for like
true.
an hour. You know?
You got to give it lots of treats or something, Jared. That's for sure.
By treats, do you mean drugs? Because that's probably what they did. To sedated them.
probably.
Like if I give them half of this Xanax, they'll come to in about an hour and a half when it's time for my finale.
Exactly. You got to time it just right.
That's their snack. All right, let's talk about the start of the school year, Chad.
Let's do it. It is on the horizon, fall 2021. Hard to believe. Well, the first
Hard to
thing I
believe.
actually
Oh, okay.
Like the time has flown by.
I guess
is what
it's.
I mean, Jared.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess that's so shocking to me. It's not shocking, but I was thrown off by you saying that because I don't think about the start of the school year anymore. Like
Right.
the fact that school starting is something that's never on my mind because I have a job that is not dictated by the school year. So like. Honestly, I hadn't really. That's why I never even really think about it until I was in Meyer the other day. And I was like, "Oh my god, trapper keepers," and it freaked me out.
Right.
But yeah, I guess your schedule is a lot more school year based than mine, generally speaking.
Right. Well, especially because next week is when I have to go back to the office. So.
Oh, really? Because it's the beginning of the school year?
Yeah. Yep. All the faculty are coming back on campus.
Good luck. I mean, good luck.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Are they going to make you wear masks?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good.
Thankfully, and I think that is a good thing. They've mandated,
even if
we had a lot of
vaccinated.
talks in my office. Yep, we had a lot of talks in my office about when we were going to do workshops and stuff in person. Because if there wouldn't have been a mask mandate, we would have had to basically kind of ask people to wear a mask. And like, I mean, if you've read anything in the news, some Americans have not been too keen on wearing masks.
Yeah.
So yeah,
my company had like a fun field trip thing planned for us in a couple of weeks, and they had to cancel, and I was bummed because it was also on my birthday too, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be dope, and they canceled it, and I was like, I mean, that makes sense, but I'm also sad. So start of the school year. I mean, obviously, it's the start of the school year. It's so, but it really has turned into like just another like to me. It's almost no different than like Christmas season or Halloween season when it comes to how it's treated with like
especially in the stores.
The retail.
You're
That's
right.
what I mean, like retail wise. Like it's the same sort of concept of like, oh, we got to get the stuff up, we got to get the deals, and it's like it's It's
you
both.
know what, Jared?
Mm-hmm.
It's funny you mention getting the stuff out, getting the deals. There's one interesting story I heard from one country where a lot of the parents will buy the school supplies months in advance because right before the school year, they inflate the cost of everything.
Of course. It's genius.
Can you guess which country this is?
I have no idea. The U.S.?
They speak Portuguese.
Oh, Brazil?
Yes,
I
sir.
imagine you wouldn't say
There
they
were
speak
only
Portuguese.
a couple options there,
and it'd be
yeah.
Portugal.
Right. Isn't that crazy though, dude? Like, can you imagine?
I mean, they probably
like,
do that everywhere. I'm sure there are some savvy Americans that do the same thing here.
That's true.
But because how could it be a Brazilian thing? Because if it was like specifically a Brazilian thing, companies would just catch on and be like, all right, well,
Right.
now we know in I don't know, December, we got to keep an eye out. But
Right.
we talk about the consumerism of it. Let's talk about school supplies. I mean, it both made me anxious when I saw it because it made me feel like, oh shoot, school started, and I was like, all right, I don't go to school. But then at the same time, I can't deny
Jared's gonna be late for 15th grade.
I can't deny that getting new school supplies, oh, that's fun.
It's a good feeling.
It's a good feeling,
Yeah.
especially like the younger you are, you know, like the markers, the people
Getting
that
some
get
fancy pencils.
You seem like someone that would at least have a 32 pack of crayons.
I probably did back in the day.
You're not an only child, but you were kind of raised as an only child. And I
Right.
feel like you got a lot of those only child perks, like the 32 pack of crayons, not the hand me
I
down.
think I had the 24 pack that had the crayon sharpener built in.
I think you had to, I believe that you had the crayon sharpener, but did they have those on the 24 packs? I feel like you at least had to have like one of the bigger ones.
Did you?
Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know.
remember.
But there were always
But
those
you're
people
right,
that had
though,
like the
dude.
64 pack, and you're like, oh, your parents really love you.
Right. You know what countries, though, Jared, I think is kind of interesting with the school supplies because they use specific things in these little, one's a bag. Well, I guess technically they're both bags. The first one that I have to mention, obviously, is Germany, the Schultüte or Zuckertüte,
What's that?
which is, I think traditionally, I don't remember now if
Which is German for school bag, by the way.
Yeah, right. School bag or sugar bag, the Zuckertüte. I think
Right.
depending on where you are in Germany, I couldn't tell you right now which, if it's north, south, east, or west, where they would say Zuckertüte. But anyways, what it is it's like big like paper cone, it looks like, and parents put school supplies like pencils, erasers, probably like a little notebook or paper, but then also some treats, hence the like sugar bag, the Zuckertüte. I wonder though, Jared.
Is this what you consider like one of those celebrations?
Well,
Do they do this at the
I'm gonna
stores?
get into the celebrations. What?
They do this at the stores?
No, I think they buy the stuff at the stores and then they
Then
put it together
I see.
at home.
Maybe I'm just so tainted by America. I thought you were saying like at the stores they would have these cones that you'd put the stuff into to buy it.
I think you can.
But you
thought
present
when I was
it at home, like it's something that it's like here's
Right.
your. I see. It's not like I got you.
And it's funny too, Jared, because when I was working, at a summer language camp one year, we actually made Zuckertüten with the kids in the camp, and it was a blast. But I will say, the only bad thing about the Zuckertüte is when you put too much candy in there, the kids are hyped up on sugar all day at school.
Didn't you have something like that in the Czech Republic? Something similar?
I don't.
Or maybe I'm thinking of the whips. I think that's what I'm thinking of. The whips.
Okay, yeah, that's something way different.
Yeah,
that's for Easter.
Yeah, that's completely different. I see them. I feel like these do seem familiar. I feel like I might have seen these as a kid. Maybe it didn't really dawn on me what it was.
Right.
But now that I look at them, because they also have like they'll have like like the latest sort of children's pop culture thing on it, like Frozen or like Cars 2. These things came out like 12 years ago that I'm naming.
Right. Right.
Whatever the kids are into these days. Yeah. Okay. I think probably because I was also too old for it. I got there for seventh grade.
You know what's funny though, Jared, about the Schultüten is that I've been to a couple German graduation parties, and they'll show pictures. It's adorable. They'll show pictures of the kids holding their Schultüte before they go to school. Mm-hmm. Kind of like a lot of Americans will usually. There's a
like
stereotypical take the picture like on your porch
with
or
the little
right
sign,
outside.
First day of third grade.
Yep, and your backpack on and your
fresh outfit. Your new Skechers.
Right. The funny thing though about the Schultüten though, Jared, is a lot of times these bags or these cones are as big as the kids. Like they hold them.
Yeah,
and it's
I'm
like
looking at it right
as
now.
big
I see
as their
that.
body.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, there's another country as well, though, Jared, where the tradition is to also give your students something. But this one's a little bit more practical. It comes from Japan. And have you heard about this before, Jared? These are specific backpacks called randoseru. I think that's how you say it. Which these are like these fancy, really like durable, heavy-duty backpacks that they give usually children in kindergarten, and they use these backpacks, Jared,
nice.
up to 6th grade.
I mean, these are like leather. These are nice.
Yeah, they're built to last. I was checking these out, and I might get one for myself.
They look like they're
They
made
look
by
cool.
like designers.
Right, but they're just very basic, but they're very durable from what it seems like. And so in these randoseru backpacks, the kids have like also school supplies again, probably also some treats here and there, maybe even some notes of encouragement, from mom or dad or grandma, grandpa, whoever.
I think if you had one here in the U.S., it would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
because I've never seen the specific size.
You need to get one of these before you go back to grad school, Jared.
They have some.
I'll give you some grad school resources. Put it in there.
I don't know if I'm going to be going to a classroom, but then that's so much cooler. Also than like a. I wonder if they have them. Like there's some here that are like the kids have like round ones, but there are some that are like more square, and those look pretty cool. I'm looking them up to see if Randoseru backpack. I'm looking at Amazon, which is probably not the best place to get it, but they do have them on it. Oh, they have a.
They're like $100 in Amazon.
Yeah, they're like $100 to $100. Yeah, they're like $100 for sure.
But they look like heavy duty. Like they can really.
Yeah. There's this one
really
here that I
that.
really like, but it's also $218, and I have no need for a
pretty
backpack.
fly,
I
though.
don't go anywhere ever.
Right. Well, hey, if you ever did go somewhere, you would be set. That's for sure.
Yeah.
They are cool looking. Check those out. And so what they mention here, according to Insider.com about these backpacks, is it's a way to welcome students into a different part of society. School is all about new beginnings. So, and actually, Jared, in Japan, the first day of school is on April 1st.
Okay.
And so most first-year students receive they call it here a stiff backpack or randoseru. Many parents will also gift their child with a new desk in the home, hoping to set them
It's a
up for
pretty good
academic
gift.
success.
I mean, it's not an exciting gift, but as an adult, I'm like, oh, that's a nice gift.
Right? I mean, yeah, I would
But as a
not be
kid, I'm like,
opposed to.
oh, yay, a new desk for me to do homework on.
Right. Right.
I think as far as back to school items go, backpacks got to be one of the best. Am I wrong?
Oh, for sure.
Who doesn't-
And a fly new pair of shoes if you don't wear a uniform.
Shoes is good. Yeah, that's good too. I remember like the eras of backpack. You know, like what were the cool backpacks? The Jan Sports, for example.
Yep.
But those things, did you ever have a Jan Sport?
I was never a JanSport guy.
Good,
no.
because those things would fall apart with more than a half a book. They were so weak.
I would always get the Swiss Gear backpacks, and they always lasted forever.
Yeah, but those aren't like a kid's backpack. Swiss Gear. They had like
I'm trying to think what I probably had like something goofy like
the Dakines
with a
were dope
T-Rex.
back in the day.
Oh, those were cool. Yeah.
Kids would have. I remember the Swiss. These were super popular. Not really cool. No, I'm not gonna lie. Not a cool backpack.
I wasn't the cool backpack kind of guy.
I loved a good backpack back in the day.
Okay.
I still think, not to brag, I still think I have some good backpacks today.
You know what was another funny thing too in school, Jared, related to backpacks, were if you had a cool lunchbox, especially when you were younger.
Yeah, it was so funny because I remember like there was an era when I would just get a straight up paper bag. It's kind of embarrassing.
Right.
I'm like, what does this say about me? That I have a paper bag. Also, the paper bag was annoying because I would always get to school. Like, I would try my hardest to like position it, not to like mess up my sandwich.
Smash your sandwich.
But, yes,
right.
but my sandwich would always like end up under like my heaviest textbook, and I'm like, oh great, now I get this smashed ball of dough, peanut butter and jelly. This is great.
Right.
And it's all hot. Your sandwich is all hot too. Yeah.
Right.
No, a good lunch. What sort of lunch boxes do you remember from your day that stuck out to you?
So I thankfully always had the ones that had the
characters.
They were like made out of vinyl that had like that kind of almost cooler inside to keep things. And I would usually put a little ice pack up top.
Is it like the one where it had the almost like it had like the dome on the top, and then you could you unzip it?
No, mine were always like the softer lunch boxes.
I'm talking about a soft one, but you like open it from the top, but you can also put stuff in the top.
Yes.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. Those were a standard.
Once again, for me,
that seems very fitting to go with your Swiss gear.
See, exactly. For me, it was all about practicality. I didn't.
It's confusing.
I wasn't trying to be cool.
I'm confused because I always, in college, me and Craig and Riley, we'd always call you the cool one of our group, and you were always be very confused about that.
Yep.
And we'd be like, what are you talking about? You're by far the coolest one here. Now I listened to you in elementary school, middle school. I understand your confusion now because none of this is cool. All very practical items you had. Nothing, it was all functional for you.
Although I think one of my lunch boxes was a Batman one, so I do remember that.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Did you ever have? I think we were a little too old, or excuse me, a little too young to have like the character of the day metal lunch boxes. That wasn't really our era. I think we were a little too young for that.
Once again, with the metal ones, they were kind of big and bulky,
yes, heavy.
Yep, and they just once again goes back to practicality, Jared. I mean, I clearly
you couldn't clip it to the outside of your Swiss gear with the with the Swiss gear provided carabiner.
Exactly. I mean, what happens if our school bus breaks down, hits a Michigan pothole half a mile up from school, and I gotta walk, Jared? I gotta.
Yeah, because if it happened to me, if I was on that school bus, it would jump. My backpack would land back down right on my sandwich.
And I was just going to say, dude, your sandwich is done.
Like, I haven't even made it to school yet, and my sandwich is
just done. Yeah. Oh, man.
You know, another school supply, speaking of back to school season, that blew my mind when I moved to Germany, that kids, 11, 10 years old were using. I believe you can guess. What would blow your mind as an American as a tool that children are using that makes no sense to you in school? To write, maybe.
Oh, to write?
Yeah. They were using fountain pens in
I was going to say
elementary
the fancy
school.
pens.
And I remember I got a fountain pen in Germany because everyone was using them. And I'm like, this is unpractical. Oh, I ruined a pair of pants because I tried to put a new little ink cartridge in and it like blows up on you. And it's like, why are children being forced to use this? Because in Germany, I think you're like forced to start using them in like second, third grade. And that's just like your main, and either write in that cursive. And I'm like, what is this? What era are you guys living in? You can't let them use a good Kugelschreiber, which is like a clicky pen for those of you that don't know. It's like, well, why do you have to use like
a
what
ballpoint
almost
pen.
feels like what almost I guess it doesn't have to be clicky. What almost feels like a antiquated form of writing, even though it feels sort of nice to write with. It's never practical.
Well, and you and I are lefties too, so using a fountain ink pen is not a good idea.
Yeah. Oh, geez, I forgot about that part. Another reason why I could never use.
Right, for sure. Yeah, dude. I mean, it's so funny, like just all the different stuff you can get for like the first day of school, and I feel like for me it was definitely like some cool pens or pencils, definitely some coloring pencils. But also, dude, the fit was key. You needed a good fit your first day of school. I remember way back in the day when the light-up shoes were the thing. Like, I'm talking like kindergarten, first, second grade.
My parents never got me light-up shoes, and that really
I never had them either.
Oh,
I
you
don't
didn't
think.
either? I asked for them all the time, and they're like, no, you don't need light-up shoes. And I'm like, what?
But they're sweet.
I still kind of want a pair. Do they make adult light-up shoes? They probably do, but they're probably like $1,000 for like adult ones.
Right.
Super fashionable. The light-up shoes were dope. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, you mentioned the pens and stuff. Were you were a mechanical pencil kind of person?
No. I think it was third or fourth grade when they started letting us actually use pens all the time, and then I just had ballpoint pens. But before that, I was a good old tried and true Ticonderoga kind of guy.
Ticonderoga. I think I was a pencil person long past like them mandating pens. I would use them because they made, but I enjoyed how a pencil felt. Although once again, as a lefty, really the best tool that a lefty has, given the writing options that we have, is like a ballpoint pen, because the ballpoint pens are kind of the hardest to smear.
See, as lefties, dude, we just need to learn how to write backwards.
Yeah, I mean, we are smarter than the righties.
You better believe it.
If anyone would have figured it out, it would be the lefties. The righties would just be like, no, just beat them until they use their right hand. I don't understand.
Exactly. Just tie their left hand behind their back.
Just get a ruler and slap their left hand every time they pick up a pencil with it.
Speaking of back to school traditions, I'm just kidding.
I have some. Let me go back to my notes because there's other stuff regarding back to school that I meant to bring up.
Oh, I got some too.
Oh, please go ahead.
So this one I love. I read about this. So in Indonesia, Jared, the first day of school in a lot of places, it'll actually be more like an orientation for students to get to know each other and make friends. What are your thoughts on that, Jared?
I love that. I mean, I think that's that is an important part of school. I'd say the socialization, I would argue, is equally as important as the actual education part of it, you know?
Oh, I would agree.
And so especially, you know, like elementary, middle school stuff. I mean, even high school. It's all of it. And so I think that's great. Especially for, you know, a loser like me. You've heard about my first day of school excursions, or my new school excursions being by myself. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I think it's great to you start to foster more of a community with your students, which is always great.
We kind of did it in college. I mean, we had for freshman year, we had like a whole, not a week. We
literally our freshman
but
orientation.
Like a couple days of stuff.
No, it was a week.
Was it a full week?
I'm pretty sure freshman orientation was a full week.
Yeah, I think so.
Because we came before all the other students did, didn't we?
We did do that. Yeah, I guess I just don't remember how many days it was, but there were certainly at least a few days of activities where there were like various sort of get to know each other activities and groups with like our not FYE. I almost said 4-year
first
entertainment.
Year seminar.
Yeah, first year seminar. And they had all those like get to know each other activities that we did for a couple days.
I think it's really important, and I think that should be adapted in a lot of other schools and other places. You know, spend the first couple of days kind of having the students get to know each other, get familiar with the school, Also gives the teacher some time to get to know the students a little bit.
I guess so.
I can just see a lot of good advantages to that.
I guess so. But I mean, it's also generally so easy for kids to make friends. You know, it seems like so easy. I don't know. Because even as someone, I talked about as that's sat by myself for some time. It's not like I didn't have friends per se.
Speak for yourself, Jared.
Yeah, that's probably a good point. So, do you have any other things you want to talk about?
I do.
Please go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah. So
I don't mean to...
now I mentioned, Jared, that some places might have some celebrations.
Yeah.
Well, so in
we don't
Saudi
here.
Arabia, back to school celebrations can last for days.
Jesus.
So in Saudi Arabia, many schools don't start
parents?
classes on the
like finally.
What?
Is that the parents celebrating? Like finally, these
Maybe.
kids are
That's
out of the
right.
house.
That's right. I'm sure parents from many nations probably celebrate, Jared.
Yeah.
But anyways, in Saudi Arabia, many schools don't start classes on the first day, but have a few days of celebrations, also related to Indonesia, where students socialize and get to know each other over food and activities. Can you imagine that, Jared? How nice that would be? Have like a pizza party. Your first, that's super American of me to say.
A pizza
party. Have like a pizza party the first day of school. Get to meet all your friends, find out who likes pepperoni, who's a cheese guy or gal,
That's hilarious. I love how you say that like that's a major like personality trait to learn about
That's
someone.
how you know who you can be friends with, Jared.
Never trust the cheese eaters. Is that what you're saying? That's what I heard.
Well, you gotta be careful. Gotta be careful.
Just cheese
certainly.
people. I'm like, all right, I'm keeping my eye on you. I feel like education is not even respected enough in the U.S. for them to celebrate the beginning of it. For like resources to be focused on celebrating it in a weird way.
Well, Jared,
even
I
though
would...
the people involved in the education, like the teachers and administration generally seem to be involved. I don't know. I feel like just our education is so unrespected that it would be like, just get to it. Why are you guys wasting time partying?
I think what we do in our culture more, Jared, is we celebrate the end. Like I know some of my coworkers who have kids, they have like 8th grade graduation and like these types of things.
We had
year-end. I think we do celebrate
recitals.
it.
Did you have those back in the day?
I think we did. Yeah, I do remember at least for when I was in 3rd or 4th grade, our choir class had like a little end of the year concert.
Yeah.
But that's actually, there's a lot of Asian cultures because I was reading Vietnam, China, I think also Japan. They might have like an assembly with a presentation, usually on like the first week or sometimes in the first month of school, so the students can kind of get to know each other and then do like a presentation.
Get to it. Come on.
Because I remember I had students in China who actually had to miss my lecture because they had to go rehearse for a presentation. And I asked my Chinese colleague and I said, is this okay for me to allow them to miss class for this? And she said, oh yeah, these presentations are very important. So
this is a back to school presentation?
Or like a welcoming, like start of the school year kind of presentation.
What do they talk about?
Well, I don't know because I never went to any of them. Because I was virtual for, one of them. So I was over here in the States.
Like what are they
and then while I was in China, when they always usually did them actually on the weekends, which I found interesting is they would do them at least at the university where I worked on the weekends. So usually on Saturday or sometimes on Friday night. And so usually on my Friday nights or Saturdays, I was in another city doing like other workshops and stuff. So so I didn't make it to any of them, but it would have been cool to experience it for sure.
Yeah.
Because they go all out, dude. Like they have quite the shows.
Shows? Like there's like performances?
Yeah, like it's a performance, dude.
Okay.
Like
all right. Yeah, that would be interesting to see. Do you have anything else? I don't have anything else.
So in Kazakhstan, the first day of school is actually a full family celebration. So the families will gather, have tons of food. I'm looking at a picture of this, Jared, and it's just like a table filled with like dish after dish after dish of food. I wish I could tell you what it is, but I have no idea what any of this stuff is. I don't know anything about Kazakhstan cuisine. But at 7 years old, children in Kazakhstan begin their education with a day called Til Ashar, or initiation into education. It's not uncommon for parents to organize a ceremony and cook here we go, Jared. Cook a feast with lamb and other treats, and also some sweet desserts. According to Kazakh World, the child will recite by memory to the guests each of his Zheti Ata, which is the 7th generation of grandfathers. I couldn't do that, Jared. I couldn't recite 7 generations back.
Oh, in your own family
Yep.
of grandfathers?
Right.
I couldn't do my great-grandparents.
Right. I couldn't. Yeah, me. I couldn't do my great grandparents, but still.
Yeah.
So that's only what, 3 generations or something like that.
Yeah. I could do my great-grandmother. That's about one of them. That's about the best I could do.
Right.
You know what meal I think about all the time? Speaking of, this is, I guess, Azerbaijan. Remember our friend Rahman made us that rice one time when there weren't that many people?
Basmati rice.
What the hell was that called?
Basmati rice.
Basmati is, no, that's not what it was called. Basmati is a kind of rice grain. That's the actual rice that was used in it. But I've spent legitimate time trying to figure out what the dish was. The dish was not basmati rice. That's just the rice.
I couldn't tell you then.
But I've been, yeah. I don't know why I thought you could. Your food knowledge is weak. All right.
No, okay. Yeah.
I'm saying you can keep
I'm
going.
not sure. I'll have to ask.
You can keep
I'll
going.
have to ask Rahman about that because I'm curious now. What? But yeah, I don't know,
I
Jared. I think
I tried to make it a couple of years ago and I couldn't find it.
Okay, you didn't just Google like Azeri rice dish?
Of course I did.
Okay. Yeah, man. I don't know. I just think it's nice to see how different cultures celebrate like the first day of school and what the parents and what the schools would do for the children. I think it's really great to see like, these awesome backpacks from Japan and the Schultüten from Germany, I think is a great gesture. For me in the US, all we really did was, take a picture, and obviously we went back to school shopping for some school supplies, and obviously the fit was key. I'm pretty sure my happiest year, Jared, was I had like a Godzilla t-shirt on back when I was a kid. I was a huge Godzilla fan when I was younger.
Really?
Oh,
and
yeah.
You saw you've seen like the movie and stuff? I've never seen the movie.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Especially and I think where it started though, Jared, was actually the Rugrats, because Tommy's favorite toy was Reptar. So I was into T-Rexes already.
I see.
And then Godzilla came along, and it's like, all right, well that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, Jared. I think it's important to celebrate education a little bit. Gather some excitement around it, because school can sometimes be a very hard, difficult, and dreary place. And so I think it's good to, try to start it off on the right foot.
I think there's nothing wrong with like gathering excitement around the idea of education, because generally speaking, I mean, this is true for me right now, I think it's hard to get kids excited about school,
Right.
And if culture and society are excited about school, like on a whole, I think it's easier than how we generally treat the idea of educators and the education system here in the U.S., which is like not great.
Right. And it's a big change for kids, like especially your first time at school. So I think that's why it's great, like some of these countries like Indonesia that offer like an orientation for the students to get to know one another, because for a lot of kids, if they didn't go to daycare, so they, only spent time with their parents, it can be a huge adjustment going from that to going to school, So I think it's cool that, you see them do that. I like that in Saudi Arabia, they have like a couple days of celebration where you just, I don't know, just to me, it sounds kind of nice, Jared, a nice kind of transition from not school life into school life. Enjoying some food together, getting to know each other, just so, I don't know. So I think it just makes the school year run a little bit more smoothly. If you have somebody in your class you can hang out with or talk to, makes a big difference.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree.
So I think that covers our back to school session for today. And we hope everybody going back to school, whether that be, school, high school, college, whatever. Have a good start to your school year. Be safe. Have a lot of fun. Get yourself a Schultüte if you need some treats and some utensils. Or if you want to spend a little bit of more money, get yourself a Randoseru Japanese-style backpack, because these things do look pretty sweet. So check those out. But anyways, let us know some of your favorite back-to-school excitement, traditions, or celebrations at untranslatablepodcast@gmail.com. You can slide into those DMs on Twitter, untranslatable1, the number 1. Also, check us out on YouTube and Instagram, Untranslatable Podcast. And please, 5-star reviews on iTunes. Let us know how we can make this podcast better for you. So as we say at the Untranslatable Podcast, dziękujemy, muchas gracias, shisha, and dos vidania.
I just typed in Randu Seru backpack and just went to shopping on Google. And there's a cool canvas one here that has like a handle on. I like the handle on top as well. Right. It's a nice touch.
Yeah.
Where you can hold it as a briefcase.
Oh, yeah.
And that one is like $200.
$500?
$200. Oh, wait, no, that's a different one. Yeah, it's $180.
I feel like these things could last forever, though, dude. Like, you could give this to your great-grandchildren when they go to school.
I wore this on my first day of grad school. Now you can wear it on your first day of, I don't know, kindergarten.
Exactly. I'm seeing some really cool ones, dude. I might need to get my hands on one of these Randoseru.
Yeah.
They're pretty sweet.
I'm really digging this one I'm looking at. Jeez.
They just have like a sleek style to them, you know? Like, just like I like the kind of like front leather flap.
Yeah. This one I'm looking at isn't leather.
Touch.
Yeah, I like the. Although I feel like if I would, this one is like a cloth material. But I feel like if I'm gonna get a Randu Seru, I should just get. It needs to be leather, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude.
Because that's what it is. It's leather.
Exactly. I like how on Amazon they say upscale satchel Japanese school bags. I guess that's kind of what it is. I mean, I guess they're
upscale. Ooh, I like this dark brown leather.